Good afternoon, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Afternoon. Hope you're both doing well.
Yeah, not
good,
too bad,
thank you.
thanks. Yeah, interested to get your take on this because he's not played since the Brentford debacle. Really, not well. He played in the Europa League game, but he's not played in the league or he's not started. So you do wonder how he's going to get that game time for Manchester United that will give him that match sharpness for the World Cup when we start to see the old Harry Maguire again.
Yeah, I think it's a great point because I think watching him against Germany last night, there's no doubt that he looked very off his game. And I think Man United have got 13 games to play before the World Cup. So it's literally every 3 or 4 days. So there will be opportunities, but we've got 2 ties against the Cypriot side, which it's not the level that you want an England centre-back to be playing against going into a World Cup. And I think he may even well be injured as well, which I just cannot understand why Gareth Southgate kept him on the pitch for 10 minutes. You got Harry Kane at the end of the game saying what a warrior Maguire is playing on one leg for 10 minutes. Yet he's got 2 centre-backs and another sub he could have made as well. So as a Man United fan, I'm not overjoyed about that because if he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, that really hinders his World Cup hopes, but also Manchester United as well. So, yeah, it's a difficult one for Maguire at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost become, I mean, I'm sure Gareth wouldn't say this, but it has almost become a point of principle, hasn't it, from his point of view? He is his man. He wants to back him as much as he can, as he said, until it becomes untenable, whatever that is, he'll still be in the mix. But surely even Gareth will want to see him getting some of that sharpness, getting some game time to allow him to operate at the kind of level he will be at the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't think that everyone's got their own management style. I think Southgate reminds me a lot of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment, where he seems to have a select few players that you put into the sort of favourite category who he will back and pick no matter what. We saw this at Manchester United with Solskjaer, and funnily enough, Maguire was one of those players, but so was Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford. They'd get picked even if they had a knock, whereas other players wouldn't get a chance. I think Southgate made a mistake. I think Harry Maguire playing against Italy was fine. It was an okay performance. Enjoy the rest of the camp, go back to Man United and win your place back. I think last night was a bit beating the drum a bit too hard and it backfired. I think as a manager, sometimes you've got to say no. That's what leadership is. And I think he should have said to Maguire, you're not playing against Germany. You've done okay against Italy. Go back to Manchester United, fresh mind, get your place back and come to the World Cup. Actually, that international break for Maguire has done him more harm than good when you reflect on it. And it was meant to be a time to go away, clear his head and come back confident. And actually, I think Southgate overplayed him a little bit. And that's obviously Gareth's style of management. He sticks by his players, but ultimately I think good management is actually sometimes taking them out of the firing line as well.
There were moments last night, Mike, certainly in the first half. I mean, the crowd did their best to get... I mean, there was a smattering of boos early on when they announced the team, but not when the players were out there. Thankfully, you know, they got over that. Would have been witless. Why boo your own players? So when it mattered, they got behind him. They were singing the Harry Maguire song. There was a nice little moment on the left where he won a ball and played a really nice ball down the line to Sterling that just ran out of play. And there was just little moments when he started to look himself. But the performance really is defined by that touch that sort of Musiala just had him on toast after that and gave him away the penalty. And then in that desperation to put it right, find himself so far up the pitch that even when he did get back for the shot, he was out of position. And so, you know, that's all. They're always going to be the takeaways, not those little pockets, those good little moments that we saw from him last night.
Well, it's the cliche in football, isn't it? It's the same for strikers. When you've not scored a goal for 10 games, you start shooting from areas that you probably wouldn't have done before because you're desperate to do it. And I think you can look. Man United fans are a bit mixed on Harry Maguire, but what I would say is he deserves the criticism and he deserves to be on the bench on his lack of form. But there's no doubt that he's not a bad centre-back. He is in a bad vein of form at the moment. And he can be very useful for England. He can be very useful for Manchester United still. But I just think that it's almost like go back to basics. Playing him in 2 England games when, I mean, look, Ben White should have been in that squad as far as I'm concerned. Tamari should have been getting game time. And we're playing Maguire twice when he's not in form. Sometimes you just got to accept it and say, he's not in form. How do we get you back into form? Let's go back to the very basics, take the pressure off you a little bit, clear your head, enjoy the training, go back to Manchester United. Let's work towards the World Cup instead of trying to magically get your form back, because he's doing things that he wouldn't normally do. And because of that, he's making mistakes, which is then damaging his confidence even more.
Yeah. And on the flip side, almost, Luke Shaw's been warming the bench with Harry Maguire, and I thought he had a good game last night, overlapped and got forward, and wonderful bustling run, some great pass through to Sterling, you know. So that's going to do his confidence good, isn't it?
I mean, it's interesting, Mark, as a United fan, you know, you're seeing Maguire come back probably maybe with his chin on the floor. I don't know, after the mistakes, but you know, you're right. Luke Shaw should be feeling pretty positive after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Luke Shaw got 1 game instead of 2. So maybe Southgate's managed that a little bit better. Yeah. Instead of giving him the 2 games, he gives him the 1. I heard what Luke Shaw had to say after the game. One of the problems we've had with Maguire is that I think the people around him and his PR, it always comes across as a bit of an excuse. And Luke Shaw spoke after the game and said, look, I started the season badly. I'm out of the team. I spoke to the manager. He explained why. The team have done really well without me. It's my job to sit back, support the team, work hard and wait for my chance. As a Man United fan, whether you are like Luke Shaw or not, you can't argue with what he's just said there. He's owned it. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to come back. And I don't think he was brilliant last night, but he was way better than Harry Maguire was. And he's got something to build on now over the next few weeks, which is really important for England.
Look, you don't wish it on your teammates, but Mark, it's probably going to take an injury, isn't it, to Rafa Varane or Sandro Martinez, you would think, for him to get back in the frame in the Premier League. Yeah,
or God forbid, an absolute drubbing against Man City or something like that. So but that's football, isn't it? We all know that sometimes you just got to bide your time, and football will present an opportunity, whether it is a bad result or an injury. You just got to be ready and focused. And I just feel at the moment that the Shaw Maguire thing's a good contrast. Luke Shaw looks like he's getting to that point where he's ready to step up when the chance comes, whereas Harry Maguire is just not quite there at the moment.
Yeah. Finally, as we said at the top, maybe you've got a little bit more of an understanding of what Gareth Southgate's going through after you don the suit at the Valley the other day.
Suit, not tracksuit. Was that a big choice?
Suit or tracksuit, was that a big call? With the sort of pep, smart, casual jumper effect. But you did go suit, which I think it looked rather good, because you managed the YouTube All-Stars against the Sidemen, didn't you?
I did, yeah. The suit was a choice. I thought, you know what? Ideally, I wanted to play, and I was like, how do I make the most out of the day? And I thought, well, 25,000 people watching. I'm not leaving that technical area, and I'm going to wear a suit, and I'm just going to enjoy the day. And it was a fantastic occasion, which ultimately was underpinned by raising over £1 million for charity, which is fantastic from the Sidemen. But it was an amazing day, and I think everyone had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, you were 4-3 up at half time and lost 8-7. So I mean, questions are being asked about Mark Goldbridge.
What was said in the dressing room, you know.
Yeah, people tried to individualise some of the performances on the pitch, and I believe as a manager, you've got to take it. You've got to take it on your shoulders. I'll take full responsibility. You know, that's what management's all about. But no, it was fantastic, and I think it was. For some of these games can be absolutely dreadful, and luckily it did go 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, and we had a free kick right at the end. If it'd gone in, it would have gone to penalties. So yeah, it was a good laugh.
Good stuff. Cheers, Mark. All the best.
Mark.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers, both.
Cheers.
There we are.